New at 11, a full agenda for Leon County Commissioners tonight. Our Julia Miller was at that meeting, has a look at some of the main items up for discussion.
A data center moratorium, a vote to object to the annexation of land near Lake Jackson into the city, and discussion on the future of fire services in the county were all a part of Tuesday night's meeting. On Tuesday, Leon County Commissioners unanimously voted to object to the annexation of 1,700 acres of land on North Meridian Road near Lake Jackson into the city. County Commissioners rejected the property owner's efforts to develop the land last year, but the city is currently reviewing his request to be annexed into the city limits. Concerned residents have previously pushed back, citing the potential environmental impacts. Many showed up Tuesday night and expressed their gratitude towards the commission.
We're really grateful to the County Commission for having voted to object to the annexation and to enter into negotiations with the city, basically telling the city they're wrong to annex these 1,700 acres of land.
The county attorney also updated commissioners on the future of fire services in the county. Leon County Commission Chairman Christian Caban says under the current agreement, if the contract is terminated, the city of Tallahassee would have to transfer fire-related assets to the county at a reasonable cost. He says the city is now arguing this isn't a termination, but rather an expiration of the agreement, which would mean the county would not receive those assets at a discounted cost. Caban says the city manager previously sent the county a letter referencing termination. On Tuesday, commissioners voted unanimously to notify the city in writing that they are not following their joint agreement.
Right now, they're just playing petty political games and trying to make county residents uncomfortable or trying to invoke fear on residents, which is just wrong. It's not going to really affect us. In September, we have a workshop coming back. The county will get together. We'll have all the feedback, we'll have all the data from our consultants, and we'll come up with a good, safe, and equitable way to provide fire services.
Commissioners also unanimously approved an 18-month data center moratorium. They all agree the extra time will allow them to better understand the impacts of data centers and what that could look like in Leon County. Reporting in Tallahassee, Julia Miller, WCTV Eyewitness News.